Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the deadline day live phone in. You can see we're not wearing suits. Well, at the end of the day, yeah, I haven't. Oh, there's the first. There's the first technical difficulty of the night. I didn't mute that stream. As you can see, we're not wearing suits because, well, the club phoned it in, so we're phoning it in. Happy days. And with me is my beautiful assistant. Well, I say assistant. It's Stevie. How are we getting on, Stevie?
I'm good, mate. I've taken the orange dress off because I just wasn't in the mood for the glam.
You looked fantastic, though.
I
It was,
did my hair
yeah.
especially.
It really shows how much Brazilian jiu-jitsu you're doing. It was very form-fitting, wasn't
Got to be wrestling with them men.
it? You love it, don't you?
Love it.
Yeah. But what don't you love?
Sweet,
Do you love this this window? Let's dive straight in. And as always, to everyone, if you want to get involved, the cool link. You got to get into the Discord server. I'll put the link in the chat, but at the same time, it's in the description of the video. So come on, whether you think the window is good, whether you think the window is bad, let us know. Get involved. Stevie, over to you.
I think this window's absolute shit, mate, to be honest. The window's so bad, the view is off a brick wall, and behind that's a cemetery. It's awful, mate. Awful. I don't know what to make. Today, I put up a picture of the Cola Dome behind me. I don't know if you remember that. Speaking to the ages now. And I just feel the pessimism around this club and the lack of ambition in this window is reflected in this very picture of a failed stadium. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of people might defend this window, I think, because they wanted to trim it down, get a lot of the chaff out, didn't they? Sure, some of that's gone. We've let a few people go who probably needed to go in the summer. But why have we waited so long to do this? You know, if plans are in place and we've got a three-stage transition recruitment policy, then why is this taking so long? You know, and then the ones we brought in, they don't fill me with optimism. I'm going to be pessimistic off the bat with that. I don't think we see these players for the first couple of months.
Now, what
What do you
gives that
think?
away? What gives that away to you that we're not going to see them for the first couple of months? Is it because Severe Sandal hasn't played in 3 months, or is it because Vandenberg has only played 151 minutes of football this month? Could that
I
could
think
that be it?
it's a contributing factor. I think mainly it's our previous record with getting players from Norway and Belgium and Holland and wherever else. You know, I just don't think this is the market we should be delving into. I don't think much has come out of it for us. I mean, who have we signed from there? Nordas, Hashioka, you
Well,
know,
not from
and even
Norway, but
well,
I get your thing about Hashioka. I have
good
other
thing.
reasons. But I'll let you finish your spiel first.
I am worried, Ollie, that our pull to get players is non-existent. And I'd like to talk about the Jack Diamond saga that appears to have happened tonight. That we offered 750k for him, but Stockport wanted 1.5 million. And then they were willing to take a million, but it took us until 3 minutes to seven to offer them a million, knowing full well they couldn't get any backup in off that. So the deal fell through. No planning, no foresight in this whatsoever. And, you know, we all had this Jack Wilshere in his contacts. Oh, you wait till January, Jack Wilshere's going to be bringing in all sorts of players. I don't think he's got any control of it, but I think we already know that, don't we? Someone else is pulling the strings with recruitment. Someone else is signing these checks or lack of. So I don't know. We got the clear out. Maybe it's a cultural clear out. But, you know, Yusuf Sajjad, I've got some interesting, bits of information on him, public information, that his biggest jewel, his biggest find in his recruitment career so far is Ruel Waters. And he's gone.
Yeah.
So,
And Wilshire worked with him as well, didn't he? At Arsenal. What's happened?
I feel like this is a window where the club is accepted we're in League One next year. I really do.
Yeah.
And they're probably narrowing it down and they're going to give Jack Wilshere, if he sticks about, because I don't know how much longer he doesn't need the money. He doesn't have to stay here. He can go do something else, go and join Sky Sports. Tom Lockyer did a stint there for a while, you know. A lot of Luton players go off and do some Sky Sports stuff. But I feel like they're probably saying there's lots of gaps in this squad. We'll stay in League One and you've got the summer to sort it out. Because we've still got a few spaces available now, haven't we? Well, we had five before those two came in.
Well, we had even more once. Marv
Oh,
went and
and Brown, yeah.
loads. Yeah, yeah. Got to actually put together the. If we run through the squads, I think someone actually put it on the Discord. The squad now, which is pretty alarming. Um, I'm sure I'll find it. I'm sure I'll find it. No, never mind, never mind. But I'll run
It
through
does. I
the.
mean,
Yeah, it doesn't change it really. It doesn't change
it does.
anything because for me, I feel you hit the nail on the head where you say we're preparing for League One next year. We've essentially signed two players here that are not going to be ready. They're not going to be ready for. Well, I said it. Vandenberg, 151 minutes. There's no way he's match fit, and Sandal, he hasn't played in 3 months, so they're not going to be ready at all.
That final game of this season is going to be a blinder, isn't it? With a fully fit Elijah, a fully
Yeah.
fit Van der Berg, a fully fit Sandal. So that's for one game at the end of the season. There's no way that they hit the ground running, which is what we needed. I think the promotion push is all but gone. Other clubs in this league have really strengthened in this window. Even Leighton Orient were nicking Levitt of us last minute. I mean, say last minute to us, but we know that would have been going on for a while.
Yeah.
I just don't think we haven't got the pull. We haven't got the pull that we used to have. And word gets around in the footballing world. Word gets around, and it would be Luton's not worth the hassle. That's how I feel at the moment.
It's not Luton worth the hassle. This is a grand conspiracy between agents, players, managers, the FA, the EFL. Everyone is out to get us. Don't you know this, Stevie?
I tell you what, though, there's been a couple of funny things online. It's the time of year where all the memes come out for transfer. HMS Pistol League, this or whatever, and people saying, we need to get rid of these players. Get rid of the players. Yeah, not those ones though. Yeah, we needed to clear ship, and maybe none of us know what we really wanted. Right? We could have bought in. I don't know, Haaland, Morgan Rogers, could have brought anyone in, and we probably wouldn't be good enough to get us anywhere still because there's something deeply bedded in the club that is wrong at the moment. There really is. I've got to give a shout out to someone on Twitter as well. His name is League One, which I think is brilliant, but I think his username's like DMLTFC. And he put up earlier, just because we loan all our players out to championship clubs doesn't make us a championship club now. And I think that's absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant. Yeah, bravo. That was very good. And that is the thing. Like I am happy about moving on the Deadwood. However, I'd love to know how those deals are structured because I'm sure we can't sell them. The likes of Brown, Nakamba, although Nakamba's mutual termination. Why didn't we mutually terminate Nakamba in the summer? Like I did. I think I've talked about it twice. Like I did some back of the fag packet math, and let's just assume he was on 15k a week, which is incredibly conservative. That means we've spaffed 600k on his wages. Same with Jacob Brown. If they weren't going to figure into the plans, like Jacob Brown, we were trying to move on, but Nakamba, we obviously just haven't been playing him for appearance fees or whatever. Why didn't we mutually terminate in the summer? Because it probably would have cost us the same. It doesn't matter if he didn't want to leave because there was no one rooting to sign him. It doesn't matter. Like, essentially, you need to dominate and have the power. Essentially, take the power back from the players. Because that is what it's about these days. You have a bunch of incredibly minted young men with massive egos who, try and determine and let and their agents essentially dictate to you what they want. That's probably the only thing where me and Gary Sweet agree about agents dictating.
No one's gonna love the club more than the fans. So the players, they can say all they want. Look at Jerry Yates, sucking up to all the Wednesday fans the other day. Then his performance stunk the place out. But
they loved him. Even after that performance, they're like, he's done more in 10 minutes than yada,
must
yada.
have got the ball in the box at some point. I'll tell you what, the one thing is with this window, as in every window, is I think the club got it wrong again. And the Premier League January window is quickly becoming completely irrelevant because we've had two absolutely stinkers since then. And no one can tell me the last January window, 2025, was bad because, yeah, we've got 8 players in, but they're all gone now.
Yeah.
So, with hindsight, that was a terrible window. And the only thing I will say in defence of the club is at some point beginning of the season when Matt Bloomfield wasn't quite hitting the right notes, they've got Nakamba, they've got Brown, the likes of that. They probably got one eye thinking, well, if we did have to move Matt Bloomfield on and get someone else in, they might really like Nakamba or Brown. So we'll keep them in case the next manager likes them. It's a gamble. I mean, could be completely false as well, but they're telling us that they've always got one eye on the next thing. Data driven, so
yeah, talking about data driven, like these are obviously two data driven signings to a massive extent, because there's no chance that we've actually gone and watched them. As I mentioned, 151 minutes for Vandenberg. Sander hasn't played since November. When have we gone to watch them? And Wilshere said they're ones that we've had our eyes on them for a while. Like from when?
Wilshere's not had his eyes on anyone. It's the Royal
recruitment team. Yeah, it's the Royal We. It's the recruitment team, and essentially, I feel this is a Y Scout / YouTube recruitment sesh. They've obviously looked at the underlying data. These two could be successes, and to be honest, I hope they are, because I'm sick and tired of bringing in dog shit players like Holmes, like Hashioka, players that on data, on paper, they look absolutely fantastic. Look at how many clearances Holmes makes. Look how many times he shouts in a match. You can get data for anything these days.
Of course you can.
And
Yates.
Yates, look at how many goals he scored. Yeah, but you got to look at how many chances were created for him. Like he gets like 10 chances a game, so he scores 1 goal. Whoop-de-doo. Like I'm convinced Jerry Yates was signed off the back of that absolutely fantastic overhead kick he scored. I'm convinced.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, if you remember that for Derby.
Yeah,
it was brilliant. It was a brilliant overhead kick.
I mean, people say that his first game for us against Peterborough away, I remember watching him and thinking he was very vocal on the pitch. But it was early days. We just beat Wimbledon. We were probably 1-0 up against Peterborough at that time. And you're seeing a striker new to the club come in his first game, and he's really sort of giving it out. He's giving out instructions. Little did I know that was the last thing he really contributed.
Yeah.
Apart from stealing a goal of Fanny.
Yeah, Fanny, we hardly knew ye. Also, good evening to everyone in the chat. Sorry, we're not ignoring you. We've literally come in. We just wanted to have a vent. So that's really it. Some great, I can't read all of them out because there are just so many. Right. Gaz the Hatter saying, is the fans getting on their back? Why do they want to come? Look, we give everyone a chance. We give absolutely everyone a chance. Like, we're not getting on anyone's backs. Like, we're getting on the board's back and the recruitment team's back, if anything, because essentially, I think Wilshere said a couple of weeks ago, this window is very important because you've got to sign people who are ready to hit the ground running. That is why I'm angry, and I'll say it again. That is why I'm upset that we've signed one bloke who's played 151 minutes this season, and another bloke who hasn't played since November, because we know how that ends. Yeah, we saw with Nordas. He needed 4 to 6. He needed 6 weeks to get into our squad, didn't he? Essentially, there is no difference. There is no better thing than getting eyeballs on players. The eyes don't lie. Data can lie because whoever's showing you the data can manipulate it to show you what they want. And as shown, we were going around, wrestling the tin can at absolutely every single team. Like, though there's no smoke without fire, and Pete O'Rourke is pretty on the money. He really is. But
you say there's one comment that made me laugh there. Like 1984, Nick Sutton just put, we're one serious injury away from playing Holmes again.
Yeah, and in all fairness, we can have him. We can have him in the. We can register him in the squad. There's plenty of room, as like a backup, isn't it? So essentially, there are 24 people registered. This is from Luton Town fans on Discord. Thank you very much. I did see it in the chat, and I have just found it. Goalkeepers Keeley and Shea. Defenders Naismith, Anderson, Mengi, Adofin, Longwick, Johnson, Jones, because Jones is obviously a defender. He is the right back, isn't he? But you can stick Holmes in there as well. Midfielders Saville, Clark, Walsh, Palmer, Sandal, Vandenberg, Richards, Kujua, Morris, Lawrence, Bramall, and strikers Cole, Alhamidi, Adebayo, and Wells. I am happy that we got rid of Brown. Absolutely delighted. A signing that actually really impressed me. I think Barnsley signed Tom Bradshaw. I think that was an absolutely sensational signing. Tom Bradshaw is exactly the type of player we should have looked to get in. He's a right hard bastard to have up top. Genuinely.
I mean, I get clubs want to protect their targets, their interests, and the way they go about things, right? But I read somewhere, and it was a legitimate source, one that's normally quite trusted. I can't remember who it was earlier, but they said that Jack Wilshere was chasing Luca Connell at Barnsley,
Luca Connell,
the number one target on Jack's list. I'd love to know what came about with that. You know, I mean, we're not going to get any transparency or for them to come out and say anything, but here's what we want to do, or we didn't quite get the target we wanted. Anything vague, even. But I'd love to know what went wrong with that. And the Jack Diamond thing sounds like such a mess. It really does. And we were in for him in the summer as well, weren't we? At one point, I'm sure he was bouncing about as one of the targets.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but this window, like all the windows back to the summer Premier League window, with the exception of Ross Barkley, has been absolutely horrendous. And there are a lot of players that are going to be out of contract in the summer. Like, just running down that list, Anderson's going to be gone. Mengi's out of contract. This is working off the assumption that we offer 3-year deals. And if a player and their agent agree, then we will put in an extension. So maybe Mengi has an extension. I don't know. But it's more likely that he's going to be off. Johnson, I have no idea. I hope he's on a long-term deal. Clark is out of contract at the end of the season. Adebayo's out of contract at the end of the season. So...
Yeah.
Not much. And Brown is out of contracts to the end of the season too. So there's going to be a lot of dead weight that's going to be shifted on.
It's exactly what I said earlier. They resigned now to League One. Without saying it, they're resigned to League One now, and they'll build again in the summer. That's what we'll be told. So Berry Hatters, but maybe we'll announce some more signings tomorrow, or am I being crazy? Unfortunately, I think you're being crazy because they actually said
our final signing.
Our final signing, yeah. Yep. So we've done 2. I'd be eager to know if anyone out there is actually happy, not with the outgoings, because we did need to clear a bit. Is anyone really settled with just bringing those 2 in? That's what I'd want to know.
Yeah, look, on the whole, I think they're both good players without ever having seen them play. I've probably seen them play as much as Yusuf Sajjad has. And I want to be optimistic, but it does feel like we have declared. Like we're going to have a half-hearted go. Let's assess where we are after the Wigan game. 3 more games. Let's see if we can potentially close that gap. If we can't, then it is going to be mid-table. We build again next year. Hopefully Jack Wilshere gets a transfer window where we can potentially get in players, but we're not going to have large amounts of money going around. So essentially we'll have to go back to the old school recruitment, and hopefully we can be savvy. Although I do worry because a lot of the savviness came from Nathan Jones.
I was just going to say that.
That is what worries me. That is what worries me. Yeah. But I guess, look, this is the new normal. We'll have to see where it goes. And hopefully we got a lot of the big wages off the books and we bring it down to relative normality. The biggest issue is the fact that Joey Yates has 2 more years on his deal. Shannon Baptiste has another year on his deal. There are some expensive boys that are still on contracts, but we got a lot of them out. And just a quick one before we've actually got a caller, so I'll bring them in soon. No, Ashton, if you're listening, come back in, mate. I'll get you in. A great question here. How many signings have been a success at Luton after signing directly from abroad? So do you remember, we brought this up earlier when it looked like Luton were going to do no business in the window. We were talking about Ricky Hill's transfer window. So Ricky Hill experimented with quite a few players from abroad. Like Peter Thompson, I think we signed him from NEC, didn't we? And he was awful. and Friedrich Brittenfelder. He also was terrible. And then there was what? And then he abbreviate Rats Fetz. He is Friedrich
Oh, that
Brittenfelder
rings
is
a bell.
Rat Fetz. Yeah, because he liked being called Rats Fetz. And essentially now, I must have said it on the podcast before. I've said pretty much everything. I'm like a broken record. One of the biggest issues with Luton Town and signing foreign players, we've always signed players that, when we've signed a foreign player, we've signed a player from another team in England because they're already established in England.
Yeah,
when we
exactly.
sign a player from abroad and we have no player liaison, we have no one to set them up bank accounts, we have no one to go to the shops and pick them up some milk, we have no one to help them shop for houses. Essentially, we take a bloke, and this guy Vandenberg, I think he said in his little talking head thing, I've never been abroad. Oh my God, he's gonna be walking around like in the middle of Wellington Street. He's not gonna know where he is. Like, honestly, we have no player liaison. Like, what is Stu Hammond's going to be like nipping over to their house to bring them cereal and some milk every day? That is the biggest problem with bringing in foreign
These
players. We don't have the infrastructure.
players from these foreign leagues, which aren't the top leagues in Europe, which are not going to be for us, or even the second leagues, right, in Europe, they come over, and I think a lot of them don't understand how difficult it is to drop into these lower leagues in England in League One, League Two. You see them struggle all the time. There's no way. I want to be wrong always, because if I'm wrong and Luton's successful, then win-win. But these players aren't going to do much for us. I really don't see it. And I know it's unfair not to give them a chance, but we're all jaded. We've all got PTSD, haven't we, from the Premier League,
Yeah.
and they're coming straight down through the Championship. It's going
Oh
to take
well,
a lot to really get
recruitment
us all
has
right.
gotten harder, hasn't it, Stevie?
Yeah. But other clubs manage, don't they? Everyone else manages,
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. Oh, got some great comments. Other players that have been successes. Jean-Louis Valois. Yeah, he was a success until he wasn't.
Yeah.
Until he was getting in punch-ups outside of bars. And here's one. Lars Elstrup was a success, but it took until his second season. He was injured for most of his first season. Yeah, I interviewed Lars Elstrup on this channel. It was the first ever video up. It's a great listen. I recommend scroll all the way to the bottom and have a listen to what Lars Elstrup had to say about his first season. He did not want to be here. He moved here because of the money. He was a very money-conscious individual, and he knew moving to England was going to be like his big break. And he essentially set him up for life, moving to England. But he absolutely hated it here, and he couldn't wait to get back to Odense. So much so, he engineered a move, and we made a loss on him. So, you can take the transfers out of Luton, but you can't take Luton out of transfers. That made a lot more sense in my head. Right. Giraffe says, imagine Luton being the first place you see in the UK. It's not exactly lovely, is it? Oh, well, a lot of towns are like that, mate. You can go to the centre of most towns and they all look very, very similar, especially if they're built at the same time. DMC123, glad we moved some Deadwoods. Yes. Concerned about what happens to some of the better players if we stay in League One. Well, they'll probably get poached, won't they? Like,
Yeah,
Ali's going to be gone. Ali doesn't want to come back to League One. He's clearly shown that with his performance. Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll read a couple more. Guys, if you want to get involved in the chat, I have put the call link in the chat. It's also in the description below the video, I believe. Yes, it is. It is there. So there is no excuse for people not to call in. Give us your thought. Whether you like it or not, you can put me and Stevie in our place. We'll listen to you. This is an open forum for people to give their thoughts about the signings. I'll run through the signings again, just in case people want some food for thought. So out. Archer has gone on loan. Walters has gone on loan. What do you make of that, Stevie? You mentioned he was like Yusuf Sajad's golden child from Arsenal, but do you think he'll have anything to play next season for us potentially?
I don't think he will. I think there's is such a shift in the culture at Luton. I genuinely don't think players want to be here. And I think when they come here, they think, I'll shine on this dying ship of a club. and earn a bit of money and then engineer a move elsewhere. I mean, this whole Ruel Waters thing makes it's just mind-boggling. It really is. This Yusuf Sujan. I'm going to read this thing, right? I know I said it too early when we were talking, and I just can't believe it. But the summary is across Arsenal, Den Bosch, and Luton Town, Sajid is generally seen as a strong, analytical recruiter with good talent identification skills and an ability to build systemic processes. His biggest concrete successes so far are in academy and youthful talent spotting, like Ruel Walters. We don't even have Walters anymore. So he's our head of recruitment. His biggest success story is Ruel Walters, and we've just sent Walters out to Blackpool.
Yeah. Yeah,
you
well,
know, what is going on?
He might come back. He might come back next year. I don't know. He's got like another. This is his second year of contract. Then he'll have one more year of contract. He might have an optional extension. I don't know. But in the summer, Ruel Walters' dad wanted him to leave.
Oh, really?
But told by a very reliable source. He said, "You're better than this. Move." And then, then they all went away as a club, and he actually started to buy in and enjoy it. I don't understand how they've all bought in, but they're all still so shit. The togetherness. But
they didn't have any of their dipping in the stream in Slovenia this year, did they? Did they? Where did they go?
I'm sure
they go there again.
Yeah, they go to Slovenia every year. They've been going there for 6 years now.
Absolutely insane. My problem with it is we are short in the squad. I know we had to get rid of some deadwood. Brown had to go. Yates needed to go because he's probably bringing down everybody. Marv needed to go. And fair play to him. He's done good for the club when he came in. He was the one signing in January. I still think NJ had sort of an input in that. I don't think that was a Rob Edwards signing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the extra push we needed for Premier League. And fair play, he's gone off. He hasn't been the same since his knee injury. But we're short on the ground for certain positions. So why has Walters gone out? He clearly doesn't want to be here. He ain't coming back.
Well, in all fairness, we got the replacement for Nakamba in Vandenberg, and I think Sandal can play there as well. I think he is sort of the... Sandal is sort of the backup to... Who was that chap from Aberdeen we were going for?
Clarkson.
He was sort of the backup for Clarkson. And then there's Vandenberg, who is sort of the backup for Connell, I think. Sort of the deep line playmaker. So, hopefully Walsh comes back and then he can keep that space warm until Vandenberg can do it, because he's a big boy. He is a big boy, so he's probably that. I don't know why Savills not getting a chance there, but maybe Wilshere wants a defensive midfielder like Patrick Vieira who can get the ball, win the ball, charge through the middle with the ball. Saville can't do that. Saville can't do that.
They are a couple of tall guys that have come in, and it's probably height that we need in certain positions.
Oh, we needed height.
We're the shortest team going, I think we'd probably struggle to outmatch an under-7s team a lot of the time. But, I mean, look, there's a lot pinned on Elijah back in full training now. He's not just on the grass, he's in full training. So maybe the goals are coming. Maybe this is a service. But I just don't think these players are going to jump straight in. I think we're going to...
They're not.
I said this to Daniel before the Blackpool game. I said, come 6:30 after the Cardiff game, I think our season's dead. I think there's too much of a gap to chase to playoffs.
I think it's after Wigan. We need to see where we are after Wigan.
Yeah,
we essentially
I heard you say that earlier.
We need to turn the away form in. If we can escape from Cardiff with a point, and we manage to beat Bradford, and we go into Wigan, we could 100% do it. Could 100% do it.
Our League One season is alive for potentially another 2.5 weeks. But these players won't be playing for us for another month, easily.
Yeah, this does have the feeling of, if you remember Nathan Jones's first season in charge, sort of feeling out the squad. But the difference is, Jack is like a multi-millionaire. I don't think he really has the... I don't know if he has the drive and determination. I know he doesn't have the drive and determination that Nathan Jones had to actually stick around, stick it out. Essentially, like Andrew Bernard from The American Office, I only... Nard Dog, like the Nard Dog. I only do competitions. I don't lose competitions. I I either win or I leave because they are unfair. Like he could, I reckon if the going gets tough, he'll just be like, and the fan backlash gets a bit too much, he'll be like, well, fuck it, I've had enough, I'm off. And to be honest, I couldn't blame him. You know, being a football manager is a thankless task. It really is. Like, unless you get that success and you get promotions, and we've had a lot of negativity. I saw a comment saying, Jesus Christ, this is the most negative podcast. Yeah, since we started this podcast, I've seen 30 wins, mate. I have every right to be a bit negative. I try and be positive, but I calls it as I sees it. Like, there's only so much you can do. Yeah. So.
Well, it's negative because it's been negative for 2 years, hasn't it? Of course, it's going to be negative. You know, we've done nothing for 2 years.
Mid-table League One, hooray! Yippee!
And it's just going around in circles, because this time last year we were struggling for an away win in the Championship. How many games did we go without an away win in the Championship last year? It was a ridiculous number it got up to, you know. And then we're at that point again now. All right, yeah, we won. When was our last away win? I can't remember. But the performances are rubbish. We don't look like we're going to win.
Stockport 3-0.
Stockport. Right.
It was a good performance as well. Ryman hit the nail on the head. Like, you know, you play direct, you play fast, you get it to your wide men quickly. Why don't we do that? Tailor horses for causes. You know, just horses for causes. Horses for courses, even. You know, play the ball fast. You got pace. Use it.
Well, look, this is the third window we've had, which I don't think has won any fans over. If it's won you over, ring in and tell me and Ollie why this has won you over. Why you think the last 3 windows have been good. The last 3 windows haven't been good, in my opinion. They've just not been ambitious enough.
The last 3, where does that go back to, Stevie?
Well, say this one, the summer and January 25. I just don't think any of them were decent windows.
Crikey, there's only been 3 windows. This one, summer League One, winter championship.
Winter. 8 players come in, 6 of them are gone.
Yeah.
And Naismith is the one that stuck around, and Jones has just got back from the sickbed. That's not a successful window, because we've let 6 go out of the 8 we brought in. And I look back at the
summer championship as well. Summer championship was a bit of a shambles. Winter Premier League was a shambles.
I was letting Yusuf off by just saying the last 3, but I do think that come the summer we need different recruitment.
By his own admittance, he joined us in the Premier League. He joined us as we were coming out of the Premier League. So that first championship summer window was his chance to stamp his mark on it. And so
the failure should be even more apparent to him, really, shouldn't it? It should be, wow, when I joined this place was Premier League. Now look at it.
It's a bit of a fixer-upper.
Can't wait for Bromley to come to town next fucking year.
Oh, Bromley are going great guns. Fair play to Bromley. Don't, we got to stay up. don't you dare disparage the Bromley. They're doing tremendous stuff at the moment. Like, I hope they don't fold at all.
And Cambridge as well. Look at Cambridge. What are they on the longest winning streak in the country at the moment? Are they?
Powered by Pelly, mate. Powered by Pelly.
Yeah, exactly that.
Now, I'm not saying still got the legs. No, he's still got the legs. He would have been good to have around. Definitely.
Character, yeah.
Well, we've got no characters.
Seen it, done it.
Got no characters. We brought in a bunch of guys who have never played in England before. It's not like they're going to be barking out orders to anyone. Like, we need the experienced heads to be a bit more vocal. We need that, you know. Here's a good one. Highland Hatter. You don't sign project players if you are serious about getting in the playoffs, except it's a rebuild. But the thing is, they're all project players. Like, loads of these players are project players. We bought a load of young kids, you know. I think the only
experienced ones haven't worked.
Yeah, Saville. Yeah, we don't give Saville a chance, but we get Saville and we tell him play like Patrick Vieira.
Saville, Yates, Wells, Naismith. You know, I mean, Naismith was good for us until he signed a contract. You know, and then all of a sudden, you know, he's in now. Can't get rid of him.
Yeah, like a tapeworm.
Look, someone ring in and someone who thinks this has been a good window.
I'd love to hear
any
it.
reason.
I would love to hear it. Minibar 23. This window has been good in my opinion, but only because
There you go, ring in.
but only because it's been clearing up the mistakes of the last two.
Oh,
Here we
there
go.
you
We
go,
got
yeah.
a call. I'll just read a couple more comments. Steve, wait a second. I'll bring you in. Matthew Byro, the state of this club while under Matt last year. For a while, the state of this club for a while under Matt last year, it felt like we had some unity as a team. But apart from that, since we got relegated, it feels like the club have been dialing it in. Sorry, Matthew. I thought you were going to say you were going to dial in. Danny Club. That Stockport result was the peak of our Luton Town away games. True. M1 jammed. Honestly, Chris Powell should have been moved on. I have no idea where he actually brings the setup anymore. Every time the camera pans him, he's laughing and joking and not watching the game. I honestly, I'm a bit disappointed in Chris Powell. When I met him at the content day, I thought I was very impressed with him. And Gary Sweet, the first thing he said to me was like, "Oh, isn't Chris really impressive?" And I was like, "Yeah, he actually was really good, wasn't he?" Obviously, Gary decided to hire him. He was Gary's hire, so he's one that Gary pushed for. So
was that before Gary kicked you out?
Yeah, Gary kicked me out. He didn't kick me out. He just walked away. He didn't like the questions. Phil H LTFC. No one wants to come here, and most want to leave. It's like the Hotel California, mate. Welcome to Luton Town Football Club. Ba, 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 ba. It's a horrible place.
Look, seriously, if these signings pay off, right, and we somehow get into playoffs and are even competitive in the playoffs, right, we'll make a video of all the negative stuff we've been saying, and I'll do a public apology afterwards, but it ain't gonna happen. So it's all right.
No, it won't happen. If we get promoted, I will let people select the dare for me. Yeah, Chris Powell speaks really well, but how much sway does he really have? Lack of content creation for the show day due to censorship. Yeah, Sam, yes. Well, to be honest, I don't really feel like editing it now, and to be honest, a lot of the stuff has come out, and some of the stuff, it won't come out. Maybe one day. Who knows?
Yeah.
Should have brought Pleat into recruitment. Well, he's got that job up at Celtic, hasn't he? He's like their head of recruitment. He could have been one. Edward Walker, Wrexham on the push for the Prem. Don't remind me. Absolutely annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Gattuso had never played in the UK before. That lad barks. Sometimes he was maybe good, sometimes he was maybe shit. He was all right. But also that was Scottish football, which is just a step.
Very different.
I saw something the other day, those free agent accounts on Twitter, where it's like, I'm looking for a club. This person's looking for a club. It was someone that he was looking for a club. It was like National League North, National League South, non-league Scottish Championship.
Yeah, Celtic. And then Boreham Wood. No offense, Boreham Wood are way above that level.
Yeah, Boreham Woods are going great guns. I do hope they get promoted. Local team for me. Local teams. I'm absolutely delighted with that. I believe we have brought, not Pete A, we have brought in Steve. Oh, hang on. I got caps lock on. Steve M. Good
You right?
evening. How are you doing?
Evening. Not too bad.
Yeah. So, Steve, what do you think of?
Late on us, man.
Yeah, lay it on. Come on. You know ball, mate. You know ball. Tell me.
No holds barred here.
You look at the way the days panned out. It's evident that what he wanted, Wilshere, was a couple of midfield players. He's got a couple of midfield players. Whether they're the ones that work out or not is we wait and see. You can talk all you like about we needed a right back. Maybe we needed a right back. You can't put that on the board because evidently, given the fact that there was not a single rumour linking us to any right back, he believes he's got enough cover at right back. So
well, we were never getting a right back, were we?
If the majority of the people that say that we don't have enough at right back are correct, then that's on Jack Wilshere, not on the board.
Yeah.
For all the other things we can accuse the board of, he was of it. They've obviously been told not to worry about right back. Okay, we had a little look at a centre back on loan from QPR. Obviously, that got turned down out of hand. And as I said earlier, that every single other player we were linked to is some kind of central midfield player, other than Jack Diamond, which to me green like let's have a cheeky little bid for one of the better players of our opponents, mainly being in a position where the guy that Wiltshire evidently wanted immediately, because that deal was the only one done particularly quickly, in Lawrence. It comes to me that possibly the recruitment department have been a little bit freaked out by the fact that Lawrence hasn't started very well. Now, given the whole history of what I've seen a lot of, particularly with me national team hat, that good young players at big clubs, very often their first loan spell, whoever it is at, is bloody awful. Harry Wilson, Daniel James, all very, very good players who were awful in League One and League Two on loan, in their first loan spell. Doesn't give me a huge amount of confidence for Lawrence either. But I don't think the Jack Diamond thing was a particularly hugely thought out one. Therefore, he wanted a couple of central midfield players. He got a couple of central midfield players. And actually, we talked about an atmosphere around the squad where there's a lot of negativity, and also there's a lot of players who were joining the project at a very different point, who are expecting to be in a very different point right now. There's an awful lot of players in that squad who weren't playing. That's not the case anymore. So from that point of view, those two things have been fixed a little bit.
All hands on deck now, isn't it? Because we are probably running a bit short in some areas, I think. Players might have to adjust and adapt to slightly different areas. My thing about the Jack Diamond saga is, if it was just a cheeky bid to throw off Stockport, put a bit of interest in, stop them doing much else, stop them getting anyone else in because they think this player's going on, that player's coming in? Or is it that we were just so ill prepared for it?
This is my point, because all the ones that seem thought through were all central midfield players. That one is so left wing, it is weird to consider any other way.
Yeah.
Now, ignoring the fact that we were hoping for a bit more today, and yes, I would have liked a little bit more knowledge of English football in what we got today, but we'll see what comes out of it.
I suppose it works both ways, isn't it? Because these players come in with nothing to prove, no idea what League One's going to be like. They'll come in free and easy, no fear. They might do brilliantly. They're not going to adhere to the norms or the perceived norms that some players have about League One. You've got to be rough and ready. They might come in, glide through it, or they might come in and get absolutely mowed down. My biggest thing is, like, talking about the right back, Steve, is what I don't understand is Ruel Walters is highlighted as one of Yusuf's success stories. Ruel came from Arsenal. Jack Wilshere knows him. He's a young player.
He trained him at Arsenal.
Could he be coached into becoming a better player mentally, physically, or why have they just gone, you know what, off you go? Is it outside factors for that player, like Ollie alluded to earlier, where the dad is possibly saying, oh, you need to get out of here, Blackpool Pleasure Beach is brilliant once April comes around.
Well, we'll never know for sure, but evidently the person that will probably know, very few, because part of the issue is I don't think Jack Wilshere knows a thing about players in League One and League Two. Let's be entirely honest.
Yeah.
Walters is the one player he would have come, which is why I think he was probably more instrumental on Lawrence than in certainly the Cole signing, or probably either of the signings we made today in terms of the Pacific player.
Yeah.
But he would have known Walters, and if he's made the decision that he doesn't think he's good enough to play right back for what he wants right now, when the other option are a returning Isaiah Jones, who's a very attacking player, and certainly in that position, in my opinion, playing him right back in a back four would be the equivalent of someone playing Sorba Thomas right back in a championship side.
It was always right backs were never on the slate, because essentially it was always the case we have three right backs. You know, we have Longwick, Adofin, and Jones, and Jack said Izzy Jones is my right back. So Izzy Jones is coming back. Adofin, who knows what's happened with Adofin. I hopefully he comes back soon, but right now it's an incredibly disappointing signing, especially that we knew he had a condition, who knows, a non-musculoskeletal issue, and we still signed him, and he's played absolutely zero part of this season so far. That goes to show what's systematic of the recruitment, you know, going, well, he's a good player at this level, but is the juice worth the squeeze, you know? Oh, he's got this condition. Yeah, but he'll be back in like 3 to 15 months.
I mean, hindsight is 20/20 on that one, and yes, he did fail the medicals, but we have had guys pass medicals who have had injury histories and have proven to have injury histories. Kim Doffin's basically not missed a game until he joined Luton Town, and we found an issue with him. Yeah. Okay, maybe we shouldn't have, but look at his history. He has a more significant playing history. I've got one fan at work who generally was scared that we would take him after getting relegated from the Premier League. That's how good he was for Rotherham. And then last season, he was equally good in a different position because he played more centre-back and right-back, whereas the season before, we played more holding midfield, apparently.
Yeah.
And he hardly missed a game the entire time he was at Rotherham.
Player of the year, wasn't he, last year?
Yeah. So in that respect, ignoring everything else that we know, we have had a lot of problems with in isolation. So you take everything else out that we have had a lot of history recently of signing players who have ended up being injury prone. And Mads Anderson's another one who wasn't injury prone until he got here and wasn't. So you can say hindsight's 20/20, but if you take a look at the decision, I understand the decision to sign Adofin anyway. He is,
it was a great,
and the limited bits between of him.
Choice. Yeah, but after that's what's annoying though, because he did come back and now he's out again. Like, what have we done?
Yeah.
What's happened? There's been no communication about it. All we're asking for is a bit of communication.
The communication thing's a completely different issue to purely looking at players in and players out in a window. I get your point, and obviously everyone is questioning the communication over the last 18 months, 2 years. Let's be entirely honest.
Yeah,
but let's be honest,
Steve. I have one question for you before I boot you off, because we got another caller waiting. Okay, so you can have 5 loanees in a match day squads, and I want people to get involved in the comments as well. Steve, I'm going to put you on the spot. All right, Steve and Stevie, I'll put you both on the spot. Longwick, Kajua, Alhamadi, Lawrence, Palmer, Vandenberg. You got to pick 5. Who'd you drop out of those 6?
Point there. As far as I'm aware, international loans don't count towards the 5, so you can have all 6.
Who knows? I don't want Wilshire pulling a Holloway.
I mean, no, I'd hope they check, particularly after Holloway. But yeah. I'm using
the
Wi-Fi football manager knowledge here, but I'm pretty certain international a player that is loaned in from another country doesn't count towards the 5. Hence why Watford could have half an Udinese team on loan back in the day.
That is true, isn't it? God. No matter how bad it is with us, right? I do look at every time they have a transfer window at Watford, there's Udinese involved in it. How much longer can that go on for?
Well, it'll keep going on because it's a loophole. They had one today. Yeah, but there's a loophole. There's a loophole. It's just normal, isn't it? It's just par for the course in football. Nottingham Forest do it with Olympiacos. Man City do it with. God, they got multiple teams, haven't they? They're laundering players all over the place. They had Aaron Moy from Australia, and then they sold him, isn't it? It's all a way to balance the books, isn't it?
Anyway, I'm telling you, Lawrence is going right. He can go off to soft play while everyone else plays football.
Yeah, right. Steve, thank you very much for joining us, mate. Have a good one. Catch you at the Kenny.
Yeah, bye.
Right. Yeah. Well, get your thoughts on it. So people are saying Lawrence, CPFO 105 says I think Vandenberg will have an impact. I hope so. Like,
yeah, I do.
On paper, he looks like a good player, but football ain't played on paper. And there's a good point here. Norwegian League is played about 50% of the pace and physicality of League One. And I'll tell you as well, the Norwegian League is played on 4G pitch, which is very, very different from playing on actual grass. It's something that Nordas had a real problem adjusting to. I do hope Nordos comes back and actually has an impact next year. I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens, right? Yeah. Yeah, right. Shall I bring in the next caller then?
This one. Next victim.
Yeah, the next victim. Right. Okay, I've got to adjust the caller. I'm trying to do things a bit different here. There we go.
Oh, that's cool.
There we go. Good evening, Sai. How are you going on, mate?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah. The stream's holding up. 0 dropped frames. Can you believe it? And we're streaming at 7,670 kilobytes per second, if that's what KBPS stands for.
Good to see you're on top of things, mate.
Great success. No technical difficulties this evening.
Yeah.
None. Famous last words.
Famous last words. Right. Should we have a
freezes?
True.
You've had a busy day, Si. I've seen some of your interactions earlier. You've been getting into some fights, some praises.
Oh, mate, par for the course.
I'll just sit back and let you guys crack on.
I've been trying to be more chill about things today. I tell people just, wait to see what happens before, you throw your toys out the pram at least. You had people melting down at like 6 o'clock this afternoon, and it was all a bit ridiculous. I can sort of understand why there's anger there. Let's not pretend that there's not anger in the club at the moment, and I get it, right? But you take people of like our ages and over, right? We've seen this sort of transfer dealing all before. I'm quite jealous of the younger generation because they have watched Luton only get better and better, with the players coming in being better and better each time. And sadly, a lot of being a Luton fan is being sorely disappointed. I think that you guys can agree with that on a number of factors. Like, being disappointed as a Luton fan is part and parcel with how it comes, unfortunately.
I've seen 7 relegations, I think.
Yeah, so 7 I'll check out. That's how many I've seen. I haven't seen a Cole like this since, I don't know, John Still loved a Cole, didn't he? Like, sign a load of players, get rid of a load of players. To be honest, in the conference, it was like a whole team would come in, a whole team would go out. Nathan Jones's first window. I haven't seen a Cole like this, though, since, to cut costs, since Cola. Cola did this a lot.
The Cola Dome. The
Cola Dome. It all ties back. Like the likes of Kerry Hughes. Like, Kerry Hughes never wanted to leave. He was sort of forced to leave. But the difference here, like in a way, because we're sort of not down to bare bones, but we're limited in squad numbers. Hopefully, this gives our youth a chance. Like the likes of Chigozie. Where's Chigozie? Hopefully Chigozie can come back into the mix. Maybe that kid Gavel, he's been banging them in.
I liked him, when he came
in. So maybe there's an option there. But in all fairness, our academy is nowhere near the level it was under, in the Cola era.
We've all been wanting a Cole for a while.
It's been needed, but we wanted to sell the players, not loan them out and keep 70% of their salaries on our books.
No, I get you.
That's
I
what pisses
understand,
me
but
off.
that's the position we're in. That's the position we're in, because who's going to take Jacob Brown permanently? Who's going to do that? Nobody is going to do that, are they?
They nearly did. He's put himself in the shop window for 6 months, but he's on full wages. Pompey are probably paying a bit of his wage. We're paying the majority, and we're just burning money. I just don't understand why, if these players weren't going to feature in our plans, mutually terminate. That's what parachute payments are for. But the parachute payments have been put elsewhere.
Indeed,
they've all gone. They've all gone elsewhere. So the likes of Marv Nakamba, as soon as he didn't feature in the plans, it should have been mutually terminated.
Absolutely.
Matthew Byro makes a good point. If you don't know, look up the summer transfer deadline day for the minus 30-point season. That was a brilliant one. We actually didn't have a squad complete. You can see it on Hass's Heritage, including the squad insert. Actually. I might share it on Twitter. I have a hard copy here that I've taken a picture of. Essentially, we signed, I think, about 13 players. I think we had 6 registered, and we had to put an insert into the program with all the new players that we signed for the uninitiated. Those were wild times, but we knew what was going to happen. Right, Simon, go on.
I do think that Casey Palmer is the most important signing we've made.
Yeah,
I think that bit of business
Great
right there
signing.
should be applauded. That should be applauded. He has definitely brought something to us. He's pulling the strings in games at times. He's a pleasure to watch. I think that bit of business has been our best bit of business. I always am a bit wary when we dip into the overseas market. So I really, really, really hope that these ones have been thought out a bit.
Saying these ones, there's a microaggression, mate. You can't say these ones.
Yeah.
But do they know the league, right? Casey Palmer knows the league. He knows English football, doesn't he? That he knows he's got the quality. He come down. He knows he's got a few little tricks that League One players that never played any higher, they wouldn't have seen this. They wouldn't have seen this first touch, or how you do this, how you do that. Some little bits he was doing against Blackpool. I'm eager to see when he loses the ball, if he does, because his shoes are like Velcro, aren't they? But if he does lose the ball, I'd like to see, does he chase back? I'm sure he will, because, he's quality, right? But yeah, look, Case Palmer's been a brilliant bit of business, and fair due. The club did get someone decent in there, and Devante Cole, he might bag a few as well. Yeah. Anything's an improvement on Jerry Yates at the moment, isn't it? Really. So all Cole's got to do is score 1 in the next 10 games, and he's equaled it.
What I want to know is why didn't we make Dewar a permanent? Like, do you guys reckon he just?
I was going to say he doesn't want to stay.
He doesn't want to stay.
He's probably waiting to see what happens.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Exactly. He wants to know if we're getting promoted. That's what it is. If we don't get promoted, he goes back to West Ham. He gets another loan. This time it'll be to a Championship team.
Well, it's shop window. West Ham don't want him. West Ham, if they come down, they'll spend tons of money buying the best in the Championship. Right, he's proven himself in League One. He hasn't proven himself in the Championship. He could probably get moved to a bottom half Championship club. Pompey would take him. They love our players.
I was just going to say, this time next year, he'll be playing for Pompey, Charlton, or Wrexham.
No, if Wrexham were in the Premier League.
Oh, no, I can't deal with that. I swear to God, between them and Watford going up, I don't know. I just give up football. I'd have to watch hockey or something. Is that any good?
Looks fun. If you've watched the Mighty Ducks or like...
That's going back a bit, mate.
Yeah. Mighty Ducks trilogy's good. There's that one with the 3 triplets who all have glasses as well. Can't think of the name of that movie. It has Paul Newman in it. Tremendous movie.
While Ollie's looking for that, Si, who do you think's playing right back for us this season then?
That was what I was about to say. Obviously, it's going to be Izzy Jones, if Izzy Jones can stay fit. That was my biggest concern coming out of this window, that we look really light there. Jones has got injured a couple of times. Longvike can play that, but he doesn't offer anything going forward. How can he? That's not what he is as a footballer. So that is my biggest concern.
He's got a tackle on him in that area of the pitch, hasn't he? But goes to ground a lot with them tackles, though. So it only takes one person to dink it over him, run into the box. unopposed. But yeah, I don't think he goes forward like a
Not at
natural
all.
right back.
And I can't blame him for that, because he's being
course
asked
not.
to play somewhere that he's not played.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's my biggest concern coming out of the window, really.
Well, maybe a Dothan will be ready soon, but it'll be Jones with Longvik as backup, and Longvik can also fill in at centre back, and then we've got Chigozie who can also fill in at centre back. I'm hoping.
I'd quite
we've kept Mengi
get a spell at centre back.
Yeah, we kept Mengi. I'd like to see Mengi and Longvik. That's quite
definitely.
a relatively pacey back line, and they're both
of course.
physically very commanding. We could actually play a defensive line.
You talk about a Dauphin coming back. If you've got a Dauphin, Sandal and Van der Berg, are we going to get fed the line at some point that these players are in a pre-season? They're in a pre-season mode.
Undoubtedly.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Well, we got the same line for Nordos, didn't we? He's in the pre-season.
We must have patience.
Yeah, he's on the grass.
Yep, on the grass, guys.
And by the way, a couple of guys have told me the movie is Slapshot. It's a very good movie. I recommend it. Very good movie.
Right, I've had my views. I've got to go, but it's been good talking to you. And fingers crossed these lads slot in well, because that's what we all need to hope for.
I hope so. Enjoy fighting. Enjoy fighting on Twitter for the rest of the night.
Nice one, Stevie, mate. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Right, so take care.
See you later.
Right. Yeah, it's been a good stream. Just a word on Nakamba, because it's a shame. It's a real shame it didn't work out. I think we discussed it. We must have done on the midweek catch up, where it's a case of it's funny that he's only turned up for the Virtue Trophy games. There must have been a very clear loophole in his contract that did not expressly mention Virtue Trophy games, so we could play.
There must be, because
that was the only time he played.
AFCON.
Yeah, he played. And we released him when there were no Virtue Trophy games before AFCON. We released him after Swindon, didn't we? It's like, you can go early. We released him like 3 weeks early for AFCON.
I'm guessing we're out of the Virtue Trophy then, because if we still had another game left, he'd be staying, wouldn't he, to play it?
Nah, but it was the right choice for him to get on with his career. I just wish we had done it sooner. If he was never going to feature into the plan because he was too expensive to play, and that's another thing that will never come out. It might come out one day. There you go. Stim Sona says Virtue Trophy don't count as Category A first team games. So obviously it was probably not mentioned in the contract, because when he signed in the Premier League, no one would have dreamt that we would be in League One. So we wouldn't be playing Virtue Trophy. He should have gone. Someone did
say before that he played 32 league games, so he hadn't played another one since. But what kind of contract would stipulate that on your 33rd league appearance?
That was Mike Simmons from Luton News. Yes, it wouldn't stipulate, if you play one more game, you're triggering a clause. That is why I think it was specifically written that it excluded Virtue Trophy games, because in the Premier League when he signed, no one would have thought we'd be in League One. So it is what it is. But at least we mutually terminated. His wages are off the books now, although a mutual termination comes with a arranged fee. So we must have paid him something. And we wasted a lot of money on him.
Yeah, but look, fair play to him. He contributed to a great moment in the club's history. He played his part, and he was there at a top level. He was a nice guy. Albeit everyone says he was amazing to have around the club, and it hasn't worked out for him. Maybe they were hoping that Jack Wilshere would see something in him. Maybe he would turn a corner. At one point, they were saying he only trained 3 days a week. That's never going to, result in him getting full games if he's only training 3 days a week. So it's a shame. It's a shame. I think we'll probably later on find out that his injury was just so bad that he couldn't do it. But then again, he's going to Sheffield Wednesday, isn't he? Technically, a league higher. So
let's see. Let's see. Oscar Rose 6171 says Nakamba was more than good enough to play League One, even if his knees are knackered. Yeah, he has it up here. He's got a football mentality. He can see the game.
Football intelligence.
He's a very intelligent player.
No one's debating that.
Yeah, and Ben Luton Town FC. Let's see in a month's time how the new players fit in. It's the only way we can tell. Give them a chance. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
100%.
Yeah. Look, as always, we'll get behind everyone. Like, obviously, we love a bit of a moan and a whinge, because we're fans. We're fans.
Yeah.
We want what's best for the club. It's been an absolutely abject 18 months, and when
And we're jaded. We're jaded.
We're jaded. Do you know what pisses me off the most? When you meet like a Spurs fan, and they're like, "Oh, I'm a Spurs fan for my sins." Like, fuck off. Yeah, I got a 60,000 seater stadium. I got no debt. Just walk a mile in someone else's shoes. Seriously,
I mean, it is important to say there is pessimism attached to this, and we are quite negative with some things, but we are going through a real difficult stage as a club now. I feel like we've lost a bit of what made us Luton in the earlier years under Nathan Jones from 2019 in League One, that powerful team we had of regular players, great mentality. And the Premier League was great for us off the field, maybe, but I think it's damaged a little bit of who we are on the field as well. I think we've inherited some really silly traits from the Premier League, which don't translate to League One football, and certainly didn't translate to a Championship relegation battle. So while we're here being quite negative at times, yeah, look, we want the players to do well. I'm desperate to be sat here at the end of the season with us having won the playoffs and me eating words. I'll take that every day. I want the club to get back to where they were. I thought, it is going to be a bit negative because we've seen 3 or 4 awful transfer windows where most of the players that have come in them windows have now left. And the one reliable one that we've had, Jordan Clark's still there. He's pulling all the strings. How have we recruited so many players in 4 transfer windows, but still the standout player in all of that is Jordan Clark, the best free transfer in the world. We haven't recruited anyone that even matches to Jordan Clark's standard, as far as I'm concerned. And we should have done that at the very bare minimum, because we recruited him. Really, we plucked him out of Accrington and Stanley.
Second season in the Championship. We've
lost that ability to identify key players. I think someone said in the chat earlier, getting Mick Harford, not that we don't need him to go and do it, but that mentality to go and watch a player and figure them out, bring them in, identify their character like Nathan Jones did. Are they the right fit? At this rate, like someone else said in the chat, let's get AI to our recruitment.
Yeah. They'll come up with the same. Yeah. They'll come up with the same, names that we come up. Just have a look in the league below. Who scored the most goals? Ooh, okay, take him. But other teams can knock back our advances. Minibar makes a good point. We've sport for years. Take those years out of our history. This is more than normal. Well, I'd say historically we're more of a second tier team, and fundamentally because of that Premier League year, we should have reached that new normal. We should have established a baseline. And that baseline should have been lower half Championship. I'm not saying we should have been pushing for the playoffs. We should have re-established lower half Championship and gone from there. I think I froze for a second there. I have no idea. Surprise, surprise, your audio stopped. That's amazing. It's crazy, right? Hang on. I know what I need to do. I'm going to restart the capture because I'm an absolute boss man when it comes to technical stuff. Here we go. There you go. Your audio's back now.
Am I back on?
You're back on. I'm an absolute boss man, aren't I?
What I was going to say was, on the way up to the Premier League, we were using a high-tech sat-nav. Since coming out of the Premier League, we don't even have a wrinkly old AA roadmap, one of them old ugly ones you get in the boot of your dad's car.
The A to Z, mate.
At the moment. Yeah. We don't know what we're doing at the moment. That's the and football's changed over them years. What's happened is we've gone to the Premier League, we put up a good fight, we come down. Our old ways of playing, our old ways of recruiting have gone. And then teams realise now they've got a bit of money, or we can probably get a bit more off them for that. We're getting knocked back because we don't have any pull anymore as well. So, yeah.
Jokes on them. Jokes on them. We ain't got no money. All our money is coming from getting the big earners off the bill. But in all fairness, I'm happy that we're going to go back to shopping at Lidl. I don't know. It still felt we were shopping. We weren't shopping on the top levels. Anyway, we've always been sort of, even in the Premier League, like we only signed one proven Premier League player in Ross Barkley, and even he was like right at his lowest ebb. Otherwise, we sign players from Championship, League One. Oh, but it is what it is. We're trying to be smart, preparing for the Championship potentially. Could we have done more? Like, it all started with that January window in the Premier League, but I hope these players work out. Like,
yeah, same.
I don't want to be negative, but it's been such a difficult couple of years, and people saying, oh yeah, well, this is par for the course for Luton. Well, when we
doesn't
did the
have to
last slide, yeah, it doesn't have to be. We should have a new normal because of the Premier League. And if you cast your mind back to 91, 92, when we started the slide down to the 4th tier, so I got on this ride in 95, 96 when we got relegated from the 2nd tier, which is the Championship. Yeah, so same as you, Stevie. We've probably been following the same, like 31 years,
Yeah, exactly.
It was different because we had an owner that didn't want to put anything to the club. He wasn't a Luton fan, and essentially it was a case of balancing the books. And we were in the same stadium. There was very little revenue. So the only way to generate revenue was by selling players. Like, every season was a fire sale. But we had the youth coming through that was sort of there to keep the lights on. Luton have a history of like selling that one player that's kept the lights on. Or that busway next to the stadium? Like, we used to own the land. We sold that to the council to keep the lights on in like 87, I think. Or 89. Yeah. We've always been a selling club, and we've taken our best position financially and completely mortgaged it.
But back then, you'd say put some money in the club, and the owners back then be like, what money? There is no money.
Yeah.
We're just keeping the place marginally warm and lit for now. Whereas we've been a bit spoilt in the Premier League, and now we're thinking, where's the money? Put some money in. Get some players in. Because that's what we expect. And
people say
that's
this is back to Luton. People are saying, oh yeah, but Luton have always been like that. No, Luton haven't always been like this. When we came down from the top tier last time, you didn't get like £180 million and staggered years of tranched payments. That wasn't a thing. We got relegated before the Premier League was a thing, and all the money. I understand money's gone to the stadium, but it's about how much money has gone to the development of the new stadium, especially with selling of Newlands Park. But hey, that's a whole other bugbear, a whole other rug to pull apart, thread by thread. That's a chat for another day. Stevie, have you had enough? Any summarizing thoughts, mate?
No, I don't want people to think this is completely negative, right? It is just PTSD at this stage. It's just, and it's expectation. We will get there. We will rise again. We always survive. That's what this club does. It's just that we expect better. Lessons should be learned. We expect better. We've learned lessons as fans all the time. We just want to see that the higher ups have learned lessons.
The board say they've learned lessons. Have they? Yeah. Well, there's wise words, Stevie. Wise words. But whether you've watched this live, thank you very much, or whether you're watching this or listening to this tomorrow, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for having listened, and we hope you had a good time. We didn't mean for it to be a whinge, as Stevie said. Lessons have to be learned. We've learnt our lessons. We're adapting to the new normal, and yeah, as always. Most importantly, come on, you Hatters, and welcome to the club, Sandal and Vanderberg.